When all of the paintball participants got to the field that day, we all sat through about a 40 minute safety orientation. The first one that they drill over and over is never shoot a player point blank within 10 feet.
So, Ms. Ward, you shot him at 10 feet or closer?
Your Honor, it was close, but I was engaging with someone else. I was not targeting the plaintiff. He walked into my crossfire.
Mr. Bailey, after you were shot, then what happened?
I suffered a serious injury to my groin. It required emergency medical surgery to fix it, and I suffered these severe abrasions to my face from collapsing, Your Honor.
Mr. Bailey, you've submitted $25,000 in past medical expenses.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your bills are thick like a deck of cards. You're asking this court to award you $125,000 for pain and suffering. How has this affected your life?
I've had problems urinating, using the restroom. I had to sit in the hospital for several days. I had to have a catheter inserted into my private
Yes, sir. I certainly get
to
the
help me
picture.
use the restroom. Then there was the emergency surgery. I mean, it's just ridiculous, Your Honor, that I'd have to put up with that after being ambushed by somebody that's malicious.
I did not ambush you! Oh, my God.
To further understand the medical nature of your injuries, this court has consulted a urologist, Dr. Michael Witt.
Good.
Sheriff Matt, will you get Dr. Witt from the hallway?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good day, Dr. Witt. This is a paintball injury. Do you see many paintball injuries in your job?
Personally, I don't see in my medical practice many paintball injuries, but I have seen friends who have sustained injuries from a paintball.
Now, we've seen photographs of it. It looks like he's getting hit with bullets.
Yeah, the paintball essentially is a projectile that travels at about 190 miles an hour. So if that were to strike the skin, it'll create what we call an ecchymosis, or a bruise, like you see here in this diagram.
Will you explain the nature of the plaintiff's injury?
Well, the plaintiff was hit in a very sensitive area, which is the penile area. And when the paintball struck this side of the penis, it caused what we call a fracture in the outer layer of this erectile chamber here. And when that occurs, you get pretty extensive bleeding in the soft tissue surrounding this structure.
What do you do to treat it, doctor?
It requires surgical exploration because you need to drain sort of all this blood.
So you have to
accumulated.
cut his penis open.
You do. And then these layers get closed with absorbable suture to repair the rupture.
What's the prognosis, doc?
Well, if it's recognized early and repaired early, very good. The only downside is if there's a delay in diagnosis, you can get a lot of scar tissue that can develop in this area, and that can cause angulation with an erection.
Thank you, doctor. You're released. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bailey, I mean, that's a pretty big charge to say that Miss Ward did this intentionally. Why would she want to do that?
Well, Your Honor, there's a little bit more to this backstory that hasn't been addressed yet.
Tell me about it.
Absolutely. And I'm from the South, and there's a saying that we have that says, "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned."
Who scorned?
And clearly, I've scorned Mrs. Ward here. We actually had a romantic relationship not that long ago.
I mean, a lot of bad feelings come from breakup of a relationship.
First of all, Your Honor, I broke up with him, not the other way around.
Okay.
That's why I asked him, who scorned?
She's bitter, she's angry because things didn't work out, and she just used our friendly game of paintball that we were supposed to have with our coworkers as an
my God.
opportunity to lash out and ambush me.
So you believe that she was willing to nearly mortally wound you to act out on some relationship that ended?
Absolutely. I mean, she's...
What did you do to make this woman that mad?
And you weren't
Listen, as
very
you can
good in
see-
bed either. So add that in. Since we are in court, tell the
Miss
truth.
Ward, that's not going to happen in this courtroom.
Thank you.
If y'all want to talk about your relationship, you picked the wrong place. And whether he is good in bed or bad in bed does not impact my decision and is not admissible in this courtroom.